Hey, what is up, spiritual hooligan? Will you help me to spread a message of hope and positivity, but do it without being a jerk? It's dark times for many of our friends and our family out there, and it may be even for you, but it doesn't have to be. Together right now, you and I can shift our context to become more optimistic, dare I say even empowered. But there's a danger in doing that because our optimism and our positive energy can actually cause people in our lives to turn on us and make us an enemy, compounding the negativity that we experience. So let's do this together right now. Let's do it. Let's do it without alienating the people in our lives who are actually having a hard time. But I do want you to be sure and share this message with as many of your positively focused friends and family members as possible. My name is Matthew Ferry, and I am bringing you your daily enlightenment. It's a moment for you to pause, to slow down, and to get connected to enlightened perspectives. I want to help you to quiet your mind and restore your peace so that you can find your optimism, your energy, your joy, your enthusiasm again, even if life isn't exactly the way that you want. Now, the question is, can you be optimistic in the middle of a worldwide pandemic? A threat that is destroying our economy, putting millions of people out of work, causing marriages to crumble, stressing our education system. And I think that the answer is yes. And I can only say that based on the work that I've been doing with my clients. So I can't say that it's for everybody, but I can say that for the most part, what I'm going to present to you today will actually begin to shift you back into a more optimistic way of operating. It starts with this idea that breakdown is the beginning of breakthrough, and that all breakdowns come from breakthroughs. That failures and destruction are actually what the breakthroughs are made of, and we're in the middle of one right now. So if you're willing to implement the techniques of maintaining a quiet mind, then you'll be able to see the opportunities that other people can't. And that's a positive thing. I'm just going to say it like this. If you are in survival mindset, survival mode, a little anxiety, a little stress, maybe a little frustration or upset or fear about the future, right? Those kinds of things. What that does is that naturally causes your mind to zero in on the problem. So you go from this expansive point of view to a very narrow and contracted point of view. And that will actually cause you to have opportunity blindness. You're actually moving into a time when opportunities abound, and people like you, not everybody, but people like you are going to experience these incredible quantum leaps and jumps in your ability to have your life be exactly as you want. The depression or the constriction of our activity at this moment is leading to an explosion of new ways of operating. Sometimes the forest has to burn down in order for the new growth to come. And if you look at any of the times in your life where you were experiencing abundance and prosperity, I promise you, if you look back, you'll see that there was some negative event that preceded that. That the negative event actually leads to this reconsideration, rethinking, redoing. Everything changes and shifts with the negativity. Negativity is as important as positivity. Negativity is fundamental. It's necessary. And really, negativity in the end is nothing more than the resistance you have to the labels that you're giving to the situation. So you're resisting your labels. You're not resisting the situation, but that's, go listen to some of my other podcasts in order to take that one on. But I'd like you to consider spending some time looking at your own life. And I believe that you will see that the great negatives of your life were generally followed by great positives. It may have taken you 10, 15, 20 years to get there. That's okay. But you'll see that negatives lead to positives, not for everyone, but for someone like you. Now, this COVID-19 virus and the subsequent economic crisis is potentially a great reset. It contains the potential to reset our priorities, our politics, our values, our choices, what we'll put up with, what we won't put up with. And you're the one who gets to decide. You are one of those change agents. So maybe not a change agent globally, but 100% a change agent in your own life. If you will go into a state of peace and acceptance and appreciation for what is occurring, you can positively transform your entire life. Something good is happening here. We don't know what it is, but something good is happening. Look at your life. It's always led to good things. You might have had some really challenging negative times, but they all kind of circle back to positive things. You've been progressing. And I know this because I know the kinds of people who are interested and intrigued in my message. And the message that I deliver is for that high conscious person, that person who's committed to living with a quiet mind and having an epic life. And that kind of person has they have a particular way. And I'm proposing that that's you. You have a way of operating in life that sort of constantly leads back to good. Even though if it's really bad right now, it's leading back to good. Now, by the way, if you haven't shared this message yet, will you please share it with your friends and family members, the ones that you know that this kind of message works for, so that we can embrace this challenging time together with an effective context. In fact, let's share some context right now. I want to talk about some ways that you can start to think about this situation that are maybe a little contrarian. So it's not like blind positivity, but it's actually about embracing and accepting the situation exactly as it is. So I'd like you to consider this idea that destruction is the beginning of creation. That they are just different places on the timeline, that destruction is what creation is, but just back here, right? So early in the stage of creation, creating what's next, you have to destroy the things that are standing in the way of what's coming next. If I am, let's just go metaphorically speaking, I'm a sculptor. I'm destroying this block of rock and I'm turning it into something by literally chipping away and destroying it until it becomes the thing that I want, revealing what is in my mind through the destruction of this marble, let's say. Your life is the same way. All the projects that you're involved in are the process of destroying on the way to creating. Here's another context I'd like you to consider taking on to increase your optimism. And remember that there's certain people that you can share this with, and there's certain people that you can't share this with, and that's okay. And there's certain people that if you get too positive with them, then they'll think that you're stupid and that you don't understand, or that you are blindly optimistic. And it's really important for people like you and I to spread the message of positivity, but to do it without being a jerk. And people experience you as a jerk when you are positive and you poo-poo their situation. So part of what we want to do is we want to acknowledge when we're in the destruction. We want to acknowledge with the people around us, yeah, this is bad. It does suck. I don't like it either. We want to be in rapport with them and then transform the ideas. And yet, right, it's like, this is bad. This does suck. I don't like this. And then you can move them in a new direction. But if you just try to be positive and optimistic, I promise you it'll backfire on you. Failure. Failure is a recipe for success. I'd like you to consider that right now, you might be facing the possibility of failure, whether you want to or not, because the economic means in your life get ripped away from you. Or maybe the people in your life, their economic means are getting ripped away from them. That failure is a recipe for success, is a recipe for rethinking, redoing. It causes creativity to occur. Another context that I'd like you to consider taking on is that all great fortunes were made when the world was falling apart. It is in this chaos where nothing makes sense anymore that you, with your expanded view, not contracted with fear, you're not looking at the problem, oh my God, what about this problem? What about that problem? What about this problem? What about that problem? What about this problem? That's the drunk monkey. That's its job. But when you are at peace with the way that things are, when you are embracing the destruction, if you haven't done the worst case scenario exercise, please do the worst case scenario exercise. It'll help you to be at peace with the destruction. But when you are at peace with the destruction, suddenly your opportunity set opens up. You're able to see so much more. All great fortunes were made when the world was falling apart. This chaos, this destruction that's happening, if you are able to stay present, you can get in there and pluck out these incredible opportunities, shift and shape the world in the direction that you want it to go. Pretty much everything's on the table right now. People are saying no to all kinds of stuff that they used to say yes to. All these things that you used to say yes to out of guilt and obligation. You have a free pass. It's like, I can't do that. I'm coronavirus. I can't do that. Coronavirus, right? That's not about being irresponsible or irrational or being harmful, but it's like you stopping doing the things that are harmful to you and start doing the things that are good for you that will bring about the world that you want. Success is a series of well-managed breakdowns. This is another context that I'd like you to consider. That the successful person ultimately is a person who can experience the breakdown and then come up with a solution and then move forward. And they manage the breakdowns well. They manage the failures well. They don't resist them. They don't complain about them. They might complain, right? A little bit of complaining here and there is not that bad, but they don't spend a lot of time whining and moaning and complaining and being a victim, though of course you can go through that, just go through it. But ultimately they transform those breakdowns into the success. And success appears to be this perpetual management of breakdown. So most people think of success as a place that you get, that you're there and that's it. But the more enlightened perspective is to recognize that success is this perpetual management of the atrophy, of the entropy that is occurring. Everything is falling apart. Everything is falling apart, everything. And your creative ideas, your success, your drive to have the life that you want is about holding together what is already falling apart. Success is a series of well-managed breakdowns. And then the last thing that I want to remind you of is just a very, very simple idea. This too shall pass, my friend. This too shall pass. We're not going to be in this forever. We're not going to be in this breakdown forever. We're not going to be in this pandemic forever. We're not going to be in the economic destruction forever. This too shall pass. Will you just hold that idea in mind? This too shall pass. Doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to feel good all the time. Doesn't mean you need to be positive and smiley all the time. It's okay for you to go into all of the different emotional states. Just embrace where you are. This too shall pass. It's so important as you are being a leader in your life and helping people to experience a more positive and optimistic energy that you honor that if you're too positive and too optimistic, it will actually turn people off. So I'm going to say it one more time, and I just want you to share this with all of your positive and optimistic friends so that we can help the world to transition faster back to optimism. Align and then redirect. Appreciate, have compassion, and then redirect. Understand, really see people in their misery. Don't resist them. Don't try and make them positive. Don't try and make them happy. Just be okay with them being there. And then watch how your acceptance transforms the situation. What you accept will transform. What you resist will persist. So will you help me spread this message of positivity, but not be a jerk about it? Will you send this message, this one right here, will you send this to your friends and family that you think could help us all go into a state of optimizing and embracing the negative situation so that we can transform it? I hope you'll do that with me. My name is Matthew Ferry, and this is your Daily Enlightenment. Thank you so much for tuning in.